Today's online environment is a lot. Social media is a big part of this, of course. Twitter is a hellscape, Instagram faker than ever, with TikTok and YouTube being more fast-paced and, dare I say, brain-rotty than ever. But it's not even just social media. If you go on the internet in any way, you're gonna feel the chaos. Look at the news sources. All of this fiery language, with these updates every hour. All this new information on the Russian-Ukraine war, with the Gaza war, with the presidential election, with all of this craziness going on around us. All this information makes you want to just grab your phone and chuck it out a window and go spend the rest of your days meditating in the forest. But you can't do that, and I can't do that. Getting rid of all the online aspects of your life, like Google, social media apps, news sources, WhatsApp, it's just never gonna happen. Let's be for real with ourselves. We're not gonna leave the system we live in, and we're not gonna overthrow and completely overhaul the system we're living in. I mean, I guess at least for now. Maybe in like 10 or 20 years, society's gonna understand how to use technology better, but for now, we're living in the now. So let's talk about the now, what we can do now. These apps just keep getting more and more addicting every year. I mean, you probably already know the story, but TikTok specifically sets up their algorithm. So they send you a couple boring videos that they know you're not gonna like, so that when you're on your fourth scroll, it's an even bigger hit of dopamine when you actually get a video that they knew you were gonna like. And by doing this, you just keep scrolling because you just want that hit of dopamine. Isn't that crazy? Instead of just giving you dopamine all the time, they're specifically drying you out with dopamine to give you bigger hits and to make you more addicted. If these last 10 years have been any indication of the future, then they're just gonna keep on getting more and more and more addicting. And there's no way we're gonna be able to stop the system either. Our news, our money, our food, our connections, our jobs, they all come from the internet. Going completely offline and living in the forest is just not a lifestyle for most people. Retreating or retreatism is usually never the right idea. Going back to good old days, before iPhones were a thing, before everyone had a mobile device, before everyone was addicted to social media, ain't happening. But it doesn't have to be all dreary and sad like how I'm acting. We can just figure out the best ways to manage this current system we're living in and to make it into a not so sucky time. One of the worst things you can do is complain, because complaining is never the right course of action. Instead, you just take the actions to better your current situation. What's the point in complaining about how addicting these apps are if you're not gonna do something to try to change how they affect you? So come with me today and let's figure out how we can best control our attention and stop letting these tech companies control how we spend our days. If you're overwhelmed with content, I'm here for you. And we're gonna try to fix this problem so you can get your focus, your mindfulness, and your self-awareness back to you. Let's start. First, understand you are in control of what you consume. What I mean by consume here is the type of content you are watching. What YouTube videos you're watching, what TikToks you're scrolling through, what tweets you're looking at, or X's you're looking at. Even if every single site is set up to make decisions for you and make the best decision for you, which is really whatever decision is in their best interest, you're the one that's in control at the end of the day. You're the one that has to scroll, to click, to watch. What you need to do with this control is to select better what you actually watch. So that's the first thing. Realize you are in control. You are not hopeless, you are in control. Next, what you need to do is look at whatever generates the most negative emotion from you. Negative emotion isn't inherently bad, but a lot of it is bad. And so look at the apps which are creating a disproportionate amount of negative emotion for you and delete them. Wait, don't click off. I'm not being extreme, I promise. Hear me out. Every app is gonna be a little bit like this, of course. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Vine, MySpace, Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. I think I got most of them. They're all gonna create some negative emotion. But for some people, X brings them the most negative emotions from all the politics and the culture wars that are going on with that. And some people, it's Instagram with all this comparison that they feel every time they're on the app. For me, my big one was Snapchat, which was a big source of FOMO for me. I would open the app every like 20 minutes just to see if there was a new story posted. And then after I saw there was no new stories posted, because I just checked the app 20 minutes ago, I would then go into the map section to see if anyone was going to cool places that they hadn't been to 20 minutes ago. But then that wasn't enough because I was like, oh gosh, this is boring. Nothing's changed in the last 20 minutes. So then I go back over to the story tab and then I'd start watching those over-sexualized Snapchat stories and Gangster Granny.
In girl world, Halloween is the one night a year when a girl can dress like a total slut and no other girls can say anything about it. The hardcore girls just wear lingerie.
That was a good use of my time. Gangster Granny was a good use of my time, alright? I swear by that. However, it wasn't just dumb to me now, it was also dumb to me then, and created a lot of guilt within me for knowing that I was wasting a whole lot of time. Uh-oh, a couple of you are gonna be a little mad at me, not liking where I'm going with this. I can't just delete these apps, I have too much Snap score, or too many followers on Instagram, which is important for how I view myself. And how am I supposed to stay up to date on world affairs without Twitter? Every app you delete is gonna be a sacrifice. But think about the end goal here. Is your life really gonna be that much worse if you delete Snapchat? Are still able to contact your friends because they have your phone number, but you miss out on your 100,000 Snap score? I personally felt the same things. I was thinking to myself, oh gosh, what am I gonna do without Snapchat? How am I gonna be up to date with all the stuff that's going on? How am I gonna know where my friends are going? How am I gonna be able to talk to girls? Am I really gonna lose my 3,000 Snap score? Yes, I just did it because I knew at the end of the day, these benefits were coming from the sunk cost fallacy, and that even though I spent hundreds of hours doing all this stuff, it was still better for me to delete it and then just remove that 100 hours of Snapchat progress. I mean, I still have my account. It's not like the Snap score disappears. It just stops increasing. So try right now to just delete an app that you know is not good for you and you know you're not getting the most value out of. I'm actually gonna do this with you right now. See that right there? I recently made a video that talked about politics. I mean, I think it ended off with a good note, which is stop letting politics make you hate other people. Stop letting it tear you up. But a lot of people didn't like that. But I still get a lot of anger from all the politics and whatnot I see in the app. So you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna... Oh, missed. Gone. Just like that. I just threw away the countless tweets I made there. I didn't want to delete the app because I thought, how else am I supposed to stay up to date on politics? But it's better deleted for a couple of reasons. One is because the type of politics you see on Twitter is not actual politics, and there's a lot of fringe people that get a lot of impressions for just saying crazy things. And two, because it was creating a lot of negative emotion for me. I actually thought about doing this while I was making the script for this video, but I decided to save it for when I actually record the video because it would make a nice part to the video. But it was an organic process all along. Just on the fly while scripting, I was like, you know, I should just delete X if I'm telling people to do this. So I did. I just reinstalled X there for a little show. What about those apps I really just can't delete? Or those apps that I just really need? Those apps definitely exist. That app for me is YouTube because I spend a lot of hours every week making YouTube videos, and so it's important for me to have access to the app I'm actually uploading videos, you know? So that's where you move into the second part of the video, and honestly even the easier part of the video. Maybe I should just start with this part of the video. But this part, if you have decided not to delete any apps, or if you have deleted some apps, here's the next step. Leave your fast food diet. No, you can continue the McDonald's. I'm talking about just content here. What I mean by fast food content is just a bunch of videos and content that has no nutritional purpose behind it. Just like McDonald's. When you're on YouTube Shorts, or TikTok, or Instagram Reels, or Spotlight on Snapchat, just scrolling out of subconscious boredom because what else are you supposed to do while you're waiting for dinner to be ready? That's like you eating some McDonald's fries and some chicken nuggets because it's just part of your habit. You hear a lot of people talk about dopamine and instant gratification, and watching this short form content is just the clearest example of that, where it's like hit, no hit, no hit, 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 hit. Just constant like dopamine surge, no dopamine, dopamine surge. Just like how McDonald's releases a bunch of dopamine without any real value behind it, and actually has negative value behind it, like some of the videos you're probably watching. Well, what do I watch instead? Instead of watching this mostly meaningless short form content, it's much better to watch longer form content or even shorter form content that relates to one of your interests or curiosities. Like one of those things you've always wanted to learn more about, or one of those things you've always wanted to do in your life. I know for me, there was one point in my life where I was watching a whole bunch of TikTok, and then I switched over to YouTube Shorts when that first came out. And I had this realization that I was wasting a whole bunch of my time for basically no reason. So then I just sat on the edge of my bed right here, and I sat looking at the wall for 10 minutes, doing nothing. And I just stared at the wall, thinking about what I could do with my time to be more productive. And this is a few years back before I started making YouTube videos. And I came to the conclusion that I want to learn how to code because it was something I wanted to look into in order to make video games since I was like the age of 5. And I always wanted to do computer science because that was the high paying, easy job to get into. You're making 80 grand right after leaving college, that is. So now I went about downloading Unity and downloading VS Code and learning how to code C#, HTML, CSS, and a little bit of Java. Ultimately figuring out it was not for me. Heck no, it wasn't for me. That is way too freaking tedious. There is way too much stuff going on. You are not allowed to make a whole bunch of progress and then check something. You have to write a couple lines of code and debug. Seriously, I accidentally made a 20-line script and I had to spend 15-20 minutes trying to figure out what exactly I did wrong. Oh, and the truth is that there was one line in that 20-line script that was messing up another one of my 20-line scripts. What? Who wants to do that? Even for 80 grand a year straight out of college? I would, but that's not guaranteed anymore. So good choice by Dylan not to continue going into that. But doing that was a really good step for me because I was able to figure out that this curiosity and interest was not going to lead to a career path, but I didn't need to spend thousands of dollars at college to figure that out. I just figured that out in my room over one lonely summer. That's really how you find your passions. You look at your interests and your curiosities and you actually do them. And then if you spend a whole bunch of hours making a bunch of mistakes and are like, this is fun, I like this, you might have a passion. And that's why I recommend y'all to just sit on the edge of your couch or your bed or somewhere in your room for 5 to 10 minutes and just do absolutely nothing. And just kind of let your mind wander a little bit. Let it wander into your interests. Maybe it continuously thinks about video games and how you can get more rewards in playing video games in the video game you're playing now. And I wouldn't recommend just playing video games because that can have a lot of the same problems that just watching content does. So maybe you could use this love of playing video games and progressing, not to code video games because they're two separate things, but instead learn how to design video game levels or to design video game characters and animations and like maybe even code a video game. Like maybe just do a part of the coding so you can see a full video game come to life. And if during this time nothing pops to your mind, just think back to your younger self and what your childhood dream job always was. If you don't remember, just ask the family around you. They definitely know because every adult always asks a kid what they want to be when they grow up. I mean, mine was to be an astronaut, so maybe I gotta try that passion out. NASA, can I just get like an internship on the ISS? Thanks. And once you actually know what you're interested in, you can stop letting these companies throw these videos at you and instead actively seek out content that engages in your interests and curiosities. So you can switch from this passive feed me like I'm a little pig to actively searching out content. Here's a couple tips and tricks I want to share with you that can definitely help you achieve this goal. The first thing I recommend is that you get the undistracted Chrome extension. Basically what this Chrome extension does is that for any of the big social media apps, you can block certain parts of those apps. So for example, on YouTube, you can block the homepage. And so when you first go on YouTube, you don't let the algorithm just select videos for you. You have to actively search up or go to your subscription box to find videos. Or if you feel like you're just getting caught by too many Mr. Beast, crazy, overcomplicated, oversaturated thumbnails, you could blur thumbnails. Or if you're on Instagram and find that you keep getting on deep scrolling in Instagram Reels or the Explore page, you block that. This is really important for me because I need to go to YouTube in order to go to YouTube Studio. But a lot of the times that I just go to youtube.com, I get distracted by the homepage and end up wasting like 30 minutes when all I had to do was go to YouTube Studio to upload a video or to check some stats. Next thing I recommend is to actually get rid of YouTube Shorts. I made a video that went through the whole process, but here it is real quick. Basically, go to youtube.com on your phone, make sure you're signed up with the same account that you are in the YouTube mobile app, and scroll down so you see the short shelf, and then click the X button to turn off shorts for 30 days. If everything works like it's supposed to, then you will not have shorts on your YouTube app anymore. This is honestly a lifesaver because I went from spending an hour a day on YouTube Shorts to 0 hours a day on YouTube Shorts because I never actively wanted to watch a short. It would just be like, oh, here's a video. That seems pretty cool. Let me click it. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. Swipe, 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 swipe. Next thing is sort of obvious and is always recommended, but people never do it, and that's to just turn off a lot of your notifications. And I mean for basically anything. Like I think it's easier to say what you should have notifications for, and that's for stuff that you get messages from, that's for stuff about your paycheck, that's for stuff about your grades, and basically anything that either relates to your money or your career. So it means no games, no social media for most of you, no news apps. When you want to look for news, you go to the news sites. Don't have these notifications randomly distracting you throughout the day. The last thing I need to tell you guys is that all of this is useless if you don't have discipline. The more you try to remove yourself from this content rabbit hole and this fast food machine, the more you're gonna get urges for this fast food, at least for the first year. I mean, that's how it works in real life too, is that people who remove themselves from fast food start getting heavy urges after a few weeks or a few days. And discipline is something you have to do every day, and every time you take a break from discipline, it hurts you pretty bad. For most of summer, I was pretty disciplined and never really scrolled on any social media apps. But then I kind of like put all my discipline to the side when I went on vacation for 2 weeks. And when I came home, it took me probably a week or two to get back on track from vacation because my discipline slipped so much that when it was time to record a YouTube video, I would sit right down in this chair, have this camera and all these lights on with my computer and my script in front of me. But then I would just watch YouTube videos on my phone until dinner started, and then I had no time to record videos. Oh yeah, and dinner starts at 5 and I sat in this chair at 3. Not good. And a little story from when I was scripting this video. I started scripting at 9:54 a.m. and I should have been done over an hour before because I woke up at 7:30 and was supposed to get to working at 8. And I probably would have been done in 15 minutes. But instead, I sat on my bed for 30 minutes and then went downstairs and sat on my couch for an hour watching Super Mario videos and like the history of Nintendo console videos. At a certain part in one of the scripts I was making, I brought up how you should check your screen time to keep yourself accountable. And so I did that for myself, and I saw at 9:54 a.m. I already had 2 hours of screen time on my phone. An hour and 45 minutes of that was just on YouTube. It's tough because these apps are designed so cleverly to just really addict you. Like they're basically casinos on your phone, but with you 24/7, and they gamble your attention instead of your money. I mean, what's the point of life anyways, right? Isn't it to be happy? Why put in all this effort and go through all this psychological torment just to get less dopamine than if you just gave in to the easy, high dopamine stuff? But we all know it's gotta get done because just giving in to this content fast food creates a long-term feeling of emptiness and meaningless. And so you've got to have discipline, and you're gonna make mistakes sometimes. It's inevitable. But self-improvement only works if you do the work even when you don't feel like it. And so if you're still watching the video at this point, and I don't suspect many of you are, there is a call to both you and me to have some more discipline in the habits we've been slicking away from recently, and to stop letting these habits drift away and to pull them back to you and to start doing them. If you found this video useful, make sure to subscribe, as I promise if you found this video helpful, you're gonna find my future and past videos helpful. So don't forget to find your interests, control your consumption, and think better. I'll catch you over in this video right here.